Good morning, everybody. I hope you are awake and alive today and excited to be back here on the farm for day 3 of Vacation Bible School. I'm Farmer Nick, and I'm so happy to have you all here. Now, as you know, this week we have been gathering together the fruits of the Spirit. Does anybody remember what the fruit we gathered on day 1 was? It was love. That's right. And how about yesterday, day 2? What did we gather on day 2? It was joy. That's right. Love and joy we've gathered so far. And today, here on day 3, we are gathering another new fruit of the Spirit. Today's fruit is peace. We are gathering together peace. We're going to talk more about peace and what it is a little bit later on. But right now, before we move into the unboxing portion of today, we're going to go over today's memory verse. Remember, every day we have a new Bible verse that we're going to say a couple times and try to memorize it. So today's memory verse is, "My peace I give you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." I'm going to say it one more time. Are you ready? "My peace I give you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." Those are comforting words. Those are so wonderful to hear God telling us to have peace and not be afraid or be troubled. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot that people are troubled about. But God says, remember that He is with us and we will have peace. So that's the fruit we're looking to gather today, is peace. Now let's go see what our friend has for us today in your bags.
Hello kids, welcome to VBS Online Day 3. Today we will be looking at the bag for Day 3. Inside you will have a bag that I can't open. Some bubbles. I love bubbles. Piece of shoelace. Okay. A pom-pom, and some beads. That is all in the bag for Day 3.
Here we are again. It's time for us to dig into some of the stories of the life of Jesus Christ, some of the things He taught us and showed us. But before we dig into that, let's do our memory verse again. Do you remember it? It goes, "My peace I give you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." Did you get it right? Awesome. If you didn't, that's okay. We're going to do it again later on. Feel free to pause the video, rewind it, listen to it again until you get it in your mind, all right? It's a good verse. Now today, the story I'm going to tell you is about a time that Jesus took a little bit of a break from all His traveling arounds. He had been traveling around and had been healing people and doing all these miracles, but He decided He went to the top of a big hill where everybody could see Him and everybody could hear Him. And instead of doing healings this day, He was going to teach them things. And so large crowds began to gather around Him on this hill, this mountaintop. And He told them all kinds of things. And amidst all of the things that He taught, He told them about having peace. He said, we are so worried all the time. Every day we're worried about what we're doing next, everything that we need to survive. We trouble ourselves all the time with what we're going to eat, what we're going to wear, how we look, what people think of us. We're so concerned with all these things that come at us all the time. And God, here in Jesus, speaks to us and says, think about the birds. You know birds, you've seen birds before, right? Out there, they're flying around. They don't have a care in the world. Do they worry about what they're wearing on their bodies? No, they don't worry about that. Are they worried about what they're gonna eat that day? Are they, oh my gosh, we have to lay the chicken out from the freezer so it dethaws so we can make the food today properly. And if I don't get that done in time, how will we feed the family? No, the birds don't stress out about eating. They just fly around. And yet they do eat and they are sheltered because God is with them and they know God is with them. And so they have peace. And all their anxieties, all that stress about the things that pick at us, they're not there. And how much more are you beloved in this world than even the birds? God loves you so much more than he even loves the beautiful birds that fly in the sky. And so won't God take care of you also? When you just have peace in your life, let him be in your life and take away your worries and your anxieties. And Jesus says, tomorrow will have its own problems. Today, we will worry about today. And we'll have peace knowing that God is with us today and tomorrow. In the midst of all things that we encounter, he is with us, walking alongside us. And doesn't that bring us comfort and peace? I hope it brings you peace. I hope you're feeling the peace of God inside of you even now. It's our fruit of the Spirit today, and that's what we're gathering up. So now, let's take our detour over to the craft table and see what it is we are making today. Let's go.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to day 3. So today's craft is going to have to do with bubbles. So when you blow bubbles, where would you blow them? Outside in the yard or in their house? Maybe your parents wouldn't like that so much, so probably don't do that. Bubbles can show you how strong the wind is and in which direction it's blowing. So why would a farmer need to know how strong the wind is or where it's blowing? Strong winds can damage buildings or crops. They can blow away topsoil or hurt animals. Farmers can't control the wind, but they can protect their farm and their animals and trust God to take care of them no matter what happens. When you see your bubbles blowing in the breeze, it can remind you that God will take care of you too. So, like I said, today's craft has to do with bubbles, and you're going to make what we call peace bubbles. So in your kit, you'll have a little jar of bubbles, one of these little clips, a pom-pom, some string, some beads, whole bunch of markers, and some glue. So the very first thing you're going to do is take your string and thread it through the clip. Now you're going to make sure it falls in about the middle. I like to fold it in half to make this easier. And you're going to tie a knot. And if you need to ask your parents or your older siblings for help with some knots, that's perfectly fine. Then we're going to take this, wrap it around the bubbles, and tie it in a knot again. Now, it might help to do 2 knots here, so it's nice and secure and it doesn't slip off. So you have your string all tied onto your bubbles. Then you're going to take your beads and you can string them onto these strings however you'd like. Just try to make sure there's about the same number of beads so it looks even, but if you'd rather have a whole bunch more on one string, that's perfectly fine. You can do whatever you want with them. And we've put little pieces of tape on the end of your yarn so it's easy to get it through the beads. All right, now that you have your beads all strung onto your yarn, you're going to take the last one, pull your last bead out just a little bit, and tie a knot around it so none of your beads come off. And again, if you might need some help from mom or dad or an older sibling, I know I have trouble with knots sometimes too. And we'll do that to both sides. And then you can trim off the ends of your yarn or leave them long. Next, we're going to take our pom-pom, little dab of glue, and stick it on top of our container. And then we're going to take our markers, and we can decorate them however we want. So today I'm just going to write peace on mine because they are peace bubbles. But you can draw or decorate it however you'd like. So that's our craft for today. Once the glue dries, you have some nice bubbles to play with.
I hope you really had a good time putting that craft together. It's looked like a lot of fun, and I hope it turned out exactly how you wanted it to. Before we say goodbye, let's try to say our memory verse one more time together. Do you remember it? It's my peace I give you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. If you didn't get it right, that's okay. This isn't a competition. But I hope that those words mean something to you. I hope you've gathered up peace in your life today, and that fruit of the Spirit is coming alive in you as we all gather here on the farm in this place. Today, your song, which will be linked down in the description of this video, just like the last 2 days. If you go down, there'll be a link to another YouTube video, and today's song is called I've Got Peace. You should be able to click on the link and it should take you right to that song. Listen to it over and over and over and over again, okay? It's very important you listen to it over and over and over again, all right? Well, I have had a great time gathering up peace in my life today, and I hope you have as well. So until tomorrow, my friends, peace be with you.